Now tuned in to Big Will Knows Wrestling.
What's going on, everybody? This is Will coming to you with Big Will Knows Wrestling with the question of the week. First of all, follow me on Twitter at Big Will Knows, Instagram Big Will Knows Wrestling, YouTube, subscribe to the channel if you're watching this on the YouTube Big Will Knows Wrestling. But AEW just released their TV deal, and they're going to be broadcasting on Turner Sports, which will be on Bleacher Report Live, and they're going to be showing weekly shows on TNT starting October 1st. Now, everybody's speculating that this can be the greatest time in professional wrestling because the competition is about to start, because we're about to have another wrestling war. But the question is, who is AEW's competition? Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Oh man, it's simple. The competition is WWE. Nah, not quite. I'm gonna go ahead and just go ahead and drop some facts, drop some knowledge real quick on you guys who don't know anything about this, who don't think the same way as me. Now, if you want to go any promotions, Ring of Honor is good, but it's not on AEW's level because their main draws of Ring of Honor are now in AEW. So that's not going to happen. If you want to go Japan may compete with them, but Japan may not be looking to compete with them because New Japan Pro has their own little cult following. So it's not really, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and Chris Jericho's coming back, which is an AEW talent, and maybe Kenny Omega might come back because they might have the same clause in their contracts to go work in different companies. I'm not sure, but New Japan's like, oh yeah, whatever. If you really want to keep up with the indies, now the one thing I haven't checked out yet, but I've heard about was Major League Wrestling, and they have been putting on some good shows. And then they just signed Austin Aries, so you got to watch out for them. But Impact, one thing I'll say, Impact Wrestling is coming back, man. It's really good. I didn't get to watch tonight's episode, but the episode I watched last week, they have some good talent. Look like it's finally starting to come together. So that could be something to watch for. But if it is competition, it may not last long between Impact Wrestling and All Elite Wrestling, because you know they pretty much work together with AAA, both of them. So they might end up working together eventually. We never know. I mean, they offered contracts to Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho, which they turned down for All Elite Wrestling. So you got to play with that. You got to play it by ear. But the competition that everybody's talking about is WWE versus AEW. But that's not the competition they should be talking about. I have been on the record numerous times on my YouTube channel saying that NXT is keeping WWE afloat right now. Why? Because all these hardcore indie fans watch NXT. They don't watch WWE. Like, people that watch the main roster, people are not like me and most people, most wrestling fans that watch everything. Like, I watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT religiously. But you have some people that have never heard of anybody from NXT before they get to the main roster. Some, which is weird. You know what I'm saying? And Triple H, he is on the record. He is plucking all these indie guys and he's bringing them to the WWE through NXT. So, you know, which is like closely in indie brand like. But the reason why I say the competition is NXT is because, like I said, it's keeping it in the flow. NXT is putting on shows on that the main rosters be putting on. Case in point, Halftime Heat. That's a main roster thing. Who did the match this past year? NXT. The top six draws. See, the way NXT looks, it looks like how the Attitude Era looked in the 90s, where it wasn't one top wrestler. It's a bunch of them. You had, like, 'cause in the 90s, you remember you had Stone Cold, you had The Undertaker, you had The Rock, you had Triple H, and then in the mix somewhere you still had the Dudley Boys, the Hardy. You had so many different draws in WWE bringing people in. Like, that's what it is like in NXT, because you still got Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Ricochet, and Aleister Black are gone. You got Adam Cole, Johnny Wrestling. Then you have the Velveteen Dream over here with Matt Riddle. You got Keith Lee, who's an indie guy that's coming in. You still got the Four Horsewomen. You got Io Shirai. You have so much different talent coming from so many different ways in NXT that it's hard to stop that momentum. Now, reason why I say that's AEW's competition, because people may say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna start watching Monday Night Raw to watch AEW," but they ain't finna start watching NXT to watch AEW. Now, I would say this though: Can AEW put NXT out of business? No. Can they put WWE out of business? No, because WWE's audience caters to the main roster audience caters to different type of fans compared to the NXT audience, which I already stated before. So there's no way that's going to happen. And me personally, to be honest with you, and this does not change my opinion AEW, because I'm pulling for AEW. I want to see great wrestling just like everybody else does. But you ain't messing with NXT. For example, NXT, all those indie guys that most of those guys worked with in AEW, most of them in NXT. They leave the indies to go to NXT. Some only, like maybe a few get lucky, like Doc Gallows and Anderson, AJ Styles, and go to the main roster straight. But a lot of these guys go to NXT that come off the indies. As far as AEW, the draw, like, granted, they assembled an excellent roster. I'm not going to discredit anybody. That roster is great. They got the best wrestlers in the world that they feel to assemble great matches that we want to see. But we all know who the main draws of the company is. Like, my favorite wrestler in the world is Kenny Omega. I don't care what nobody says. He's the best wrestler in the world. I know a lot of people say, "Oh well, Seth Rollins is on a big no." Kenny Omega is the best wrestler, and it's not even close. It's like LeBron. It's like everybody saying that Giannis and Kevin Durant are the best player in the NBA until LeBron gets there. It's not even close. Until LeBron retires, it's not even close. LeBron's still gonna be the best player in the NBA. But back to the subject at hand. The draws for AEW are going to be the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes, and Kenny Omega. Now, granted, Cody Rhodes is a draw, but you can just tell Cody Rhodes is really, based off watching his Nightmare Family, he's really into actually trying to run this company. Compared to somebody like the Young Bucks, who are trying to establish tag team wrestling. So they're going to always be draws. And Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho, you know, that these guys are going to be draws. But when you get there, if you take these guys away, leave Cody Rhodes backstage, do the executive vice president producing or whatever, and take Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes away, do you think AEW is going to be as popular? I think AEW is going to probably be under, I don't even know another piss ant company other than like they'll definitely be under Impact Wrestling right now, like super far under Impact Wrestling without these main roster draws. That's just my personal opinion. And also, another thing, AEW is gonna try to go live on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, but these NXT fans. Now, I'm not going to speak on everybody. I'm going to keep it 100. I'm going to speak on myself. I hear spoilers. I read the spoilers for NXT tapings and NXT UK tapings a lot. And I know pretty much what's going to happen before it happens, but I still religiously go back and watch it. And still watch it. So what's that going to stop anybody else from saying they're not going to watch it? Then, too, NXT is taped. Of course, the premiere of NXT comes out at 8 o'clock, but it comes on the WWE Network, which means that I can watch it anytime. So that means that if they decide to put AEW on at 8 o'clock the same time as NXT, okay, I can go sit there and watch AEW live and then come back and watch NXT the next day or the day after. Now, if NXT goes live, which I thought was going to happen when they went to Fox, that'd be a whole other ball game. But If NXT keeps their same format and they don't go live with it, I think NXT can still top AEW. But once it turns to live TV, like 8 o'clock every night on USA Network or on Fox Sports 1, yeah, we're gonna have a problem. Which gets into my next subject of now. Why a lot of fans are gonna say, "Well, you're dogging the main roster. Will, why are you doing this?" Well, we all know the ratings are terrible right now. SmackDown put in 1.8 million views, but I feel like WWE kind of got bamboozled a little bit because, granted, the USA Network has been broadcasting Raw and SmackDown. SmackDown has been on Sci-Fi, been coming back to USA Network with SmackDown Live. And USA Network said, "Hey, we'll pay whatever we need to pay to keep Raw, but we don't want SmackDown." Now, granted, when you look at the TV for USA Network is PG, so you really can't do too much edgy stuff on the main roster compared to what you could do on NXT. Now, granted, when they shopped the deal around for SmackDown, it went to Fox. Fox was the one that put in the biggest bid to get it, but AEW just got a deal with Turner Media or Turner Production, whatever they call it, Turner Broadcasting. They got a deal with them. And what's crazy about that is when WCW was edgy when they were on TNT, they got to do they were doing some stuff that wrestling hasn't even seen. And then, of course, USA Network had to bite the bullet and let WWE do it or whatever, or they was going to eventually lose the contract. But Vince McMahon got bamboozled very badly because now, if AEW decides to compete with the main roster, they're going to kill them because of the stuff that they can do. The suck it stuff that the DX used to do back in the day. USA Network had to give a blessing, and they just dealt with the backlash because they knew that there was printing money, like how much money that the revenue WWE was bringing. But now they're not having it. We want a clean-cut show, all this extra stuff or whatever, and it's just not, and it's not going to work. So right now, until SmackDown goes to Fox in October, I don't know what we're going to get. Hopefully, Fox opens up their doors and say, "Look, do whatever you need to do. You're going to be on Fox Sports 1. We want to see good professional wrestling, but if you need to build storylines, do what you got to do." That might save WWE, but I don't think it's going to save. Not save WWE. It's going to save SmackDown, but I don't think it's going to save Raw.